Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Geek Center. My name is Corey Morissette. I'm your Right Honorable Geek Commissioner of the Movie Trivia Face-Off. And today I am being joined by the founder and chairman of the Movie Trivia Face-Off, David the Spaniard Garcia. How's it going today, sir?
I am good. Wow, I like the sound of that, like founder, chairman. I don't think anyone called me that before. I'm great. Thank you for having me. I watched the first episode and I loved it. So yeah, really a sports feeling, and I love those kind of shows. Here in Spain, we have them centered on soccer or football. Sorry, I apologize.
To me, it's soccer. But yeah. No, right after Geek Center dropped, the first message I got was from David saying, "Hey, when can I be on?" And I thought, what better time than week 2, because you were in our season premiere match here against the Cleaner. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that match a little bit. Maybe talk about your mindset going in. I know on Geek Center, both Ruben and I talked about the match, broke it down. We both anticipated a very close match, which it ended up being, coming down to the third round. What was your mindset heading into that match?
Well, I actually agreed with mostly everything you guys said in Geek Center. But the thing is, I'm not going to go into details or use it as an excuse. I didn't really have, I'm not going to say the time, because I did have the time. I just didn't have like the mindset of getting back into the heavy studying I had been doing for the last months for the Star Wars Championship and everything. I was burned out with the Star Wars Championship also, maybe a little discouraged of my loss. Yeah, I never really underestimated the Spence, like at any point. This show is a little out of kayfabe, so I actually talk to them regularly. They are a huge part of Movie Trivia Face-Off behind the scenes, and I think we have good chemistry on camera. But even though I was the favorite going in because of accuracy or anything, I didn't underestimate them at any point, because I knew they had been studying a lot more than I had, and that they prepare for every single match like it's their last, and it showed. Sure, I didn't have the performance I would like to. I underperformed, honestly, in terms of accuracy and everything, and I was really, really lucky to survive to that match.
Well, let's take a look at those numbers right now. These are the stats from that match. And as you will see here, you'll see the Cleaner versus the Spaniard round 1. The Cleaner a little under their normal round 1 accuracy, 50% coming into the match. They finished up with 40. David, though, usually an 80% performer in round 1, you dipped down to 60%. And, missing some questions that I would think, David from season 1 might have gotten right.
Well, I will probably disagree on that. Like, the questions I missed, well, I had a brain fart in the AT-AT one, because I knew they were, behind the scenes, I knew they were asking for the AT-ACT. Like, I knew they were asking for that one. I just couldn't remember the C. I knew there was another letter in there, but I just couldn't remember. So since I could have sworn that there were AT-ATs as well in the match, I said, you know what? I am going to put AT-AT, and then I am going to challenge. So as soon as I wrote my answer, I knew I was going to challenge that. So I had a little brain fart in. I just couldn't remember the C. AT-AST kept coming to my mind, and I knew that was wrong. So I decided not to take a chance with another letter and show that I knew what I was talking about. And then do
you think nerves played into that at all? Because we saw you miss Wizarding World and a Star Wars question. Were you a little nervous going into round 1?
No. I wasn't. No, not really. Like, I wasn't more nervous than usual going into it. I have a nerves problem. Like, that's something that can probably be seen on camera. But no, I don't think I was nervous. Like, I knew it was more likely for me to miss questions I will normally not miss because I hadn't been like reviewing my notes. But I wasn't expecting to miss especially the Harry Potter and Star Wars one. But the Harry Potter one was like there were. I don't know if you are into the Harry Potter world or everything, but that specific question, the Minerva McGonagall being in Crimes of Grindelwald, caused like a huge controversy, and I just forgot. Like that's that movie, and especially those kind of details are something that I really like to forget. So yeah, I am not going to get into those kind of debates.
Well, I know on that Harry Potter question, my wife is the Harry Potter expert in my family, and I asked her, and she had the same answer you did,
Right.
and Spence did as well. So she was also would have got that one wrong. But if we go back and we look at round 2 now, this is where the cleaner in the past, in their one win, went perfect in round 2. Went perfect in round 2 again this time. They had to go to multiple choice for the majority of them, but still went 5 for 5. David, you went 3 for 5 for 60%. Again, one question off your normal pace, but you gave up 2 steals as well.
Well, opponents, what can I say?
Yep.
Also, I mean, I honestly think I have like a little more, even a little more disadvantage in movie quotes than the regular competitor. Mostly because I am used to watching those movies in another language. And usually when I translate the lines in my mind, it's not the exact quote they are asking for. But anyway, I missed questions of who said this or in which movie can we hear that. So that's really not an excuse. But I am actually really proud of how I played that round, and I am going to explain why. The last 2 questions, I could have gone to multiple choice, but I strategically decided to take a risk because I made my calculations, and I knew that going into round 3 tied was going to make a huge difference for me being able to pick the numbers and for me being able to go last answering the questions in round 3. So especially because the hard you really bad, I had it like really clear in my mind. But the one from Wonder Woman, I think that one I could have gone to multiple choice. I thought about going to multiple choice very heavily, but I decided to take the risk because if I didn't and he stole it, it would have been only like I think a 4-point gap, and answering it by 2 points, we were tied. So that would make a huge difference. And if they stole it, really, I was just hoping for me hitting my 5 and them missing their 5.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that is a great point, because now with the introduction of these rankings, it does bring that strategy into it, where if you're tied going into the 3rd round and you are the higher ranked competitor, you have the advantage of picking your numbers first. And as we saw in round 3 in this match, you picked 2 of 3 of Spence's favorite numbers. Now, I know you didn't pick those just to spite Spence, but
no.
They saw it differently, I think, in the moment.
Well, honestly, I picked 2, 3, and 11, and I have picked those numbers before because it's my sister's birthday. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't need, as I said in my post-match, and that is true, I don't need to play those kind of games. I don't like to play those kind of games, so no, that's not how it went.
And you know what? And Spence ended up was doing World in Star Wars.
Right.
So taking those questions off the board for you, which is kind of a disadvantage. But you got your 2, you got your 3, didn't even need your 5. So kind of redemption for you in round 3. The only other time you went to round 3, you missed your 2 and you missed your 3. So now you've rectified that wrong. Whereas the cleaner got their 2 and then missed their 3 and then had that impossible Mars attacks question as their 5 to lose the match. But it was really an entertaining match from top to bottom. David, now that you're past the cleaner, it looks like you might be on a collision course with the voice of the movie Trivia Face Off, Andrew the Elk Kelk.
Uh, well, yeah. I mean, Elk doesn't compete in Geek, so we will probably have to find another, I don't know, battleground to face. And honestly, as some people have been saying, and rightfully so, that it's time for me to start playing high-ranked competitors. I mean, it's clear. Like, I love storylines. My first match was against someone I started having beef with. I didn't know my match was going to be that way. You know, I expected a little because we didn't know each other, so I didn't know, and he did really, really, really well in his singles match. I wasn't expecting that. Also, then against my sister, that match was not in the schedule, but we just wanted to play each other, and I think I don't remember who decided to make it like a league match, a division match, but I am not opposing it because my sister is a great player. I have said it before and I will say it again. And then this one, it was like a long time coming, I guess. So, and as I said, Spence gave me a run for my money, but now I just have to step up the level. So whoever you have for me, Scully, Ruben, Joe. I played Joe in an unofficial match, and it was one of the best matches I have played.
Well, and now we're going to take a look at the updated Week 2 rankings, and you'll see if you maybe got an opponent on there coming up. Checking it out here. Let's go 10 through 6 first. Staying at 10, Mark the Maniac Kamayer. Ishan, the Kingslayer, is still in at number 9. Even though he hasn't competed in quite a while, you might see him actually drop here if he doesn't compete in a match here pretty soon. Dave the Dragon Lees, though, moves up simply because the backlog matches have now all aired. And we got a better look at Dave the Dragon Lees, and he had a very impressive performance at 1-0. Was able to leapfrog a couple of these 1-1 competitors. Caleb the Mad King Coho stays at number 7, and Jay Overtime Overmeyer at 6. So the cleaner Spence drops out of the top 10. But what are your feelings on the competitors currently ranked 10 through 6?
Well, I have. Oh. I mean, these people are. There are people here like. I have only seen one match of Dave, but I know Caleb Coho. I knew this one could be top 5 easily.
Yes.
He had one loss, and come on, we all know how that went. So.
Yeah, that one loss was to Robert Parker, the second round pick of Kaiser in the movie Trivia Schmodown. So that's why he is so highly rated, and he has another match here coming up soon. If he wins that one, he'll be top 3 easy. Caleb Coho is unbelievable. Jay Overtime Overmeyer is another one with a couple of wins who I think you could see make a jump up in the rankings here soon.
Yeah, if he wins another one, yes. Also, I think I am seeing Ishan there. Honestly, I think people underestimate Ishan, but he has that kind of special ability to hit unhittable questions.
Yep.
Like his luck run out in the triple threat, but I will never count Ishan out. And I think he was the only one to have a perfect round in the last Harry Potter match that aired. So, I mean, Mark the Maniac, I picked him to represent the movie Tree of Face Off in the 4 versus 4 matches. Anyone in the from top 10 to top 6 can jump at any point and can beat anyone on the top 5. I wouldn't be overconfident facing any of those. So.
No, that's a good point. And let's take a look at the top 5 now. It's a real murderer's row. You got some talented folks here. Mike the Hype Man Shea in at number 5. Ruben the Kingslayer Cologne. They're actually slated for a match now, booked just today. The Kingslayer and the Hype Man are going to face off. Actually, next weekend that match is going to tape. So we'll preview that a little more on next week's Geek Center. But the winner of that, David, is going to be 3 wins. You're also at 3 wins. The way that match shakes out, though, they could pass you for the top spot in the rankings.
I mean, I have the feeling that once Thomas, Ruben, and Mike have gone their matches, if they win, obviously. I mean, Ruben or Mike, one of them is going to win, that's for sure. But I have the feeling I am not going to be number one for long, especially because I have that one loss. But I mean, I am hoping to stay in the top 5, so I will secure my place in the main round of the World War Geek, and that's my focus right now. But from those, I have to go Scully. Like, I wouldn't mind facing any of them, but if you could like give me the chance to avoid someone, I would probably avoid Scully.
Yeah, Scully, I think, is at number 2 there, and rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
2 knockouts on his record as well. He's undefeated. That'd be the match I would love to see, is David the Spaniard Garcia versus Thomas Scully, potentially for number 1 contenders match.
For avoiding it.
So now World War Geek, of course, the amount of wins you have is the amount of slices you have on the random wheel to draw that coveted number 30 spot. You've got 3 on there now. Someone else, as of next week, is going to join you at 3 slices on there as well. So you have tied for the most or the best odds to get a later pick into World War Geek. You said that's your focus now. Are you doing anything special to prepare for World War Geek?
Yes, I'm starting to study again. That's about it. After my match, I have watched I think 5 movies already.
Okay.
And I'm starting taking notes again. I went back to my studying routine of 1 hour, 2 hours a day, reviewing questions, but just watching movies. So that's about, if someone, I mean, the questions, the flashcards and everything are great, but the best way to study is watch movies.
Absolutely.
Watch movies.
Now, of course, World War Geek is going to determine the Geektacular champion. 1 win gets you in. And this week, David, we're taping a match featuring 2 competitors looking for the first one. One is 0-1, and the other is making their debut. We have Chris the Lone Wolf Diaz versus Garth Viking Harkness. Let's take a look at the player spotlights right now. First, we'll start with Chris the Lone Wolf Diaz. Had the 1 match in Geektacular so far. In round 1, he hit 60%. 60% again in round 2, and in round 3 he hit his 3-pointer but missed the other 2. Talking to him earlier this week, his strengths are Harry Potter, the DC DCEU, and the Marvel MCU categories. David, do you know anything about Chris Diaz?
Well, I know he's very active in the Discord, and we always appreciate people who are passionate about this, but I wasn't present in his match, so I really don't know him much, but I have seen his match, and with those numbers, I mean, I think he did better than me in the first 2 rounds. So.
Well, and rumor has it, this is unconfirmed, but he may be bringing a manager when we tape it this weekend. I haven't heard who, but he might have somebody in his corner for this match. So that could prove beneficial for him. He's a young player, only had the 1 match under his belt, but I know he's anxious to get into World War Geek, and a win against Garth will put him there. Let's take a look at the Viking, Garth Harkness. This is his MTF debut. He finished 2nd in a frenzy match, and actually going back to Diaz, he was in a couple of frenzy matches. I believe he finished 2nd in those as well. Garth's strengths include all the comic book films, he said. Star Wars, Star Trek, he's pretty good in. And another interesting tidbit, he knows Jay Leno. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I put it on a spotlight.
Well, I guess that's cool for you guys who live there.
Yeah, all of us in North America know who that is. I know David was a little fuzzy on who Jay Leno is.
But I mean, I can vouch for Garth's knowledge in comic book movies. He's one of our geek question writers. He didn't have a hand on the document on this match, I can assure everyone this. But he knows comic book movies. I haven't been able to test his knowledge in Star Wars or Star Trek, but yes, he knows comic book movies. And for the little data he gave me, he knows a lot of random things about comic books, comic book movies. So yeah, if he hits one of those, he is going to be dangerous. But I seen him play in a frenzy, and I think he has that's like me. He has nerves, so that can be a thing. I do know he's a question writer as well for trivia, a bar trivia thing. You guys do over there?
Yeah, the barroom trivia.
Yeah, no, the bar trivia, like an actual bar trivia.
Like actual bar trivia, yeah. Not the MTFO version, actually going to a bar, yes.
Yeah, the thing that people do sometimes, go to bars. So I think he writes questions for a comic book bar trivia. So yeah, he has a lot of knowledge on that.
Awesome. Now, David, usually when we break down these matchups, we have a little more to go on, so it's a little bit easier. But with a one match player and a rookie, it's a little tougher. So we're going to take a look at the wheel. Of course, part of Geek Centers, we're going to debut the wheel. Look at the categories. Maybe that'll give us a little more insight here. We have, of course, the normal 8, or the main 8, as we call them here at Geektacular. Also on the wheel are scores and soundtracks and heroes and villains. Now, looking at those categories, I don't know if that helps me decide one way or another which way this match is going to go.
I don't think so. No, because we know Chris knows comic book movies as well. So I don't see the wheel. Maybe the wheel can favor Chris a little more, because we know he has been studying Star Wars. We know he knows Wizarding World. We know he's proficient in comic book movies. I honestly think scores and soundtracks can be the one that makes or breaks the match if someone spins it.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. That is a tough category.
Yeah, I'm not sure how those two are in their IMDb studying, because honestly, I was terrible when I started, and that's something you have to get better at. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, David, between these two competitors, do you have a favorite going into the taping tomorrow morning, or anyone you expect to win this match?
I think that Chris is going to get ahead in round 1. I am giving Chris the edge on that. But if Garth hits a comic book category in the wheel, and if he manages to be in a 2-point range by the end of the round 1, if he hits a comic book category, I will give the victory to Garth.
Okay. I'm agreeing with you. I'm also picking Garth. I think Garth will have a slight lead coming out of round 1. I know Chris missed his Star Wars and his Star Trek in his first match, whereas Garth, I think, has a good shot at hitting those. And then it really all comes down to the wheel. Like I said, if anyone spins scores and soundtracks, they could be in trouble, or, of course, opponent's choice. Round 3 is going to be a toss-up. So just with the Star Wars and Star Trek knowledge for Garth, I'm giving him a slight edge in this one. And with that, David, we are out of time. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining this week. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or anything you want to plug here coming up this season on the MTFO?
Well, we have a lot of plans for this season. The World War Geek is being incredible. We are working, because I know people are asking. This is Geek Center, but I am hoping you allow me to say something that's not geek related.
Yep.
We are working on the singles league. We are working on getting back on track, and we are making baby steps. The things are not as bad as they were when the season started. We cannot give you guys a date yet, mostly because if I do, the administration team are going to kill me. But we are working on it, and things are looking better. But I am also going to say, guys, whenever the league is going back, we will let you know. So, we appreciate you guys being enthusiastic, but we will start scheduling matches once we get the division back and running. So, yeah.
There you go. And as always, if you're interested in helping out in any way, whether it be question writing, editing, anything like that, contact any one of the admin team. I'm on there. David's on there. Of course, Mr. Scribbs is on there. Jimmy Derry. Andrew Kelk, all those guys, just let us know, and we'll find a spot for you. The more help, the better. So anything else, David, to say before we close out here today?
No, I don't think so. I thank you for having me, and you are doing a great job as a geek commissioner. Because,
thank you.
I mean, the geek right now is like the blood of the movie theater face-off. So, yeah. and I couldn't be happier about it, by the way.
Well, I appreciate that very much. We're going to keep working to make it even bigger and better as we go along here. So thank you very much for joining us, David. I'm sure we'll have you back on as the season progresses. I'd like to thank everyone out there for watching, and we'll see you next week on Geek Center.